Hello, everyone. Welcome to a special edition of In the Spotlight. I have two of the Derby softball coaches, of course, the head coach, Carlin Ali, and her assistant coach, Jenn Moffat. And they're going to talk about a ton of things tonight, but especially the 13th annual Pink Game that has been just a great fundraiser for so many years in Derby. And they kind of they all do a tremendous job with this. So it's really an honor to have them on. First off, Carlin, this is your second year as head coach. How has the experience been as a softball coach for Derby High School?
It's definitely been great. I've been coaching softball for probably going on 10 plus years now. It's definitely something that I love doing. It kind of worked out. I started teaching at the high school. And my first week there, they were like, "Hey, we need a softball coach," and I was like, "Okay, let's think about it." And then it just kind of all came to fruition real quick. Um, it's been definitely a great experience. Last year, I'd say we were kind of like in a structural rebuild the culture, rebuild the team. We got 5 wins under our belt. This year we're already at 6. So hoping to planning to make the state tournament this year for the first time since 2019?
2019 and then 2011 before that.
Wow, and that is awesome. And I believe you started the year 3-0 this year as well, correct?
We did. It was definitely a great start to the season. And then we had some really tough opponents, some of the top in our league and in the state. Kind of after that, so we definitely took a few losses. So you know what? At the end of the day, we got to get 8. 8 is the first step. That's what gets us in the tournament. But we're hoping for a few more than that.
That's awesome, and I think it's very important that people understand the hard work that these girls put in. So, go around the infield with me first. Who do you have around the infield this year for the Derby girls?
Yeah, it changes based on who's
Depends
pitching.
on the game.
Yeah, based on who's pitching, depending upon the game, depending upon who we're playing. Key players, my 2 pitchers are Kaylin DiMartino and Jamie Orizzetti. My first baseman is Anastasia Stanis. When Jamie's not pitching, she's either playing second or third. Shay Gray is my shortstop. Third base, if Jamie's not there, it's either Brianna Kling or Faith Van Ness. And then my catcher is Sarah Damasino. Occasionally we have Kaylin Cross or Etiana Reyes playing that position if Sarah's in the outfield, if we're getting a lot more action out there.
You know, you mentioned Jamie Orizzetti, and it's ironic that she's one of your pitchers because I can remember when she was a freshman, the Derby pitcher had gotten sick in the middle of the game, and she kind of had to come in as an emergency pitcher, never really having pitched a varsity game yet. And she did a good job under the circumstances. So it's really nice to see that 4 years later, she's one of the main pitchers on your staff because that just shows how hard she worked.
I call her, I was talking to a college coach the other day. I called her a Swiss Army knife because she is the only player I've ever coached that has played every single position on the field. She's pitched, she's caught,
and she's solid in all of them.
Yeah, we can really put her anywhere. And luckily, we've got some really great freshmen. We started off the year with our outfield as Faith Van Ness and Haven Clark, who are seniors, and then our right fielder was Etiana Reyes. We've had some injuries and stuff like that. Change that. So now we also have a couple freshmen in the mix. So Kayla Cross is out there a lot, and Ari McNeil is our starting outfielder as well now. So he's definitely grown, and we have a lot of potential for the future, for sure. Especially because most games we're starting 3 to 4 freshmen.
Yeah, a lot of freshmen contributing right out of the gate.
Right, and you know, you mentioned Kaylin Cross. Who else is a freshman that's really been contributing so far this year?
So Shay's our starting shortstop.
Yeah.
Ari's a starting outfielder. And Kaylin is a starting player. Her role changes kind of game to game. She might catch, she might play outfield, and she might play second. So the 3 of them have definitely been key players. We've also had a few other freshmen in the mix, Kira Boyles and Alex Davis. And then we have a lot of freshmen who are we have a JV squad for the first time in a while as well. And they'll be playing tomorrow also in the first game, the 10 a.m. game.
Right. And I think one of the things that's very challenging for both of you as coaches is this has happened in previous years, and I think this year as well. Some of these girls are learning to play softball for the first time, correct?
100%.
Yeah, we started with 23 girls, 13 of which were new to high school softball, but I believe it was 9 of them had never even played softball. And then we obviously had some returners who were in that boat last year or the year before.
Yeah, and I mean, it says a lot about you coaches and the hard work the kids put in, because when you're playing against other teams who have all that experience and these kids are new to the game, the fact that they're competitive to me is a victory right there. And then when you get a victory, that's an added bonus. So, I mean, that really is a credit to all the hard work, because that's not something that's easy to do. It's not easy to get wins when you have kids playing for the first time.
Yeah, listen, the NVL this year, for all of their 20 game schedules, went to a power schedule. So that is absolutely helping us this year. We're playing teams that we're competitive with, and that's the reason for the power schedule, so that every team is playing in a division that you can be challenged every single game and actually be competitive in those games, as opposed to too many lopsided wins and losses.
Right. Now, talk about your other pitcher, because I believe last year she pitched a lot, and this year she threw a perfect game. Am I correct? Or at least a no-hitter was one of them, right?
She had a no-hitter this year. She had a perfect game and a no-hitter last year.
Right.
Junior Kaylin DiMartino, familiar name to Derby softball, with Joe DiMartino being at the helm for 31 years. Her sisters Jordan and Lacey, and actually Carissa as well. All three of them have been through the program, so definitely a family environment here.
Yeah, and she also played on the basketball team, did a good job for the basketball team this year as well. So, I mean, tremendous athlete, but it seems like having last year under her belt, pitching as good as she did, she's got so much confidence this year, because, I mean, it doesn't look like she's ever intimidated when she's out there.
Yeah, she's close to 250 career strikeouts too. I was just double checking my math. She's right under 240. So, that's a good place to be as a junior when there's other people in the mix.
Yeah, and her and Jamie play really well with each other. We've had plans before where, if one's getting tired, bring the other one in, and if the other one starts getting tired, bring the other one back in. So we have that ability to be able to, Kaylin's on her really good days is definitely faster than Jamie. Jamie is very accurate. So they kind of play off of each other really, really well, and give and complement each other. So.
Right. And just by judging this year and seeing so many of the younger kids who are out there playing, you got to really look forward to what the future holds, because these girls are going to have so much experience under their belt. You talk about the freshmen, especially Cross, Gray. I mean, by the time they're seniors, I mean, who knows what these kids can do, because they're going to have all that experience.
It'll be really nice to let them have that opportunity to have 4 years, 80 plus games of experience.
Right. And, let's talk a little bit about, the pink games coming up, but senior night has got to be coming up as well. And let me ask you, as coaches, I mean, Jenn, you've been around the game a long time and around different sets of kids throughout, 25 plus years. How difficult is senior? It's kind of like bittersweet. You're happy to see them walk out with their families, but it's the last time they're ever going to play for Derby softball. And when you've coached them 4 years like that, it's got to be a little bittersweet for you as well.
Yeah, listen, I'll tell you, today was the first time it kind of hit me a little bit. We were in the seniors, and the captains were up with Coach Ali at, doing pitch captains at the beginning of the game, going over rules and things with officials. And I was kind of standing there, and I was like, there's only a couple more of these left with this group. And listen, they are a very hardworking group. They've given absolutely everything they can to this program. Their consistency is unmatched. They will do absolutely anything they need to do on the field, off the field. Yeah, it's definitely bittersweet, but we have a very family environment here. We're trying to build that culture. We've got two of our captains, actually, I'm assuming possibly all three of our seniors from last year, but definitely two of them are planning. They reached out to us. Hey, what can we do for the pink game? Can we come down?
What time should I be here?
Yeah, one's going to help out run the concession stand. The other's going to do all of the announcing for the day. So, I mean, we have just, the alumni games tomorrow night afterwards, and we can't wait to just see who shows up. Who knows? You never know who over the past, 25 years or so, whoever's still in the area may show up to come play in that, and we welcome everyone to do that. It's just a fun kind of stress reliever at the end of a very long day. So.
Right. I was thinking about this today as well. And this really didn't affect us as much when we were in high school, Jen, but it really has. And listen, every team goes through it, so it's not just Derby. But one of the things that these girls have to deal with is it doesn't seem to get as warm in softball season like it used to, say, 20, 25 years ago. I mean, there's games where you guys were playing in 20-degree weather. And I mean, that's easy not only for coaches to be out there, but kids playing and trying to hit a softball. How difficult is that sometimes when you're playing under cold conditions?
I'll say like the first couple scrimmages and games in years past always tended to get like that one last snowstorm and we would get snowed out. That we haven't had a problem with the past couple of years, which is great. There's been a ton of rain in April. Scheduling was a nightmare at times between all the sports here and trying to find fields. And we actually had many teams come to us and play their home games here against us just because their fields just weren't ready, just so that no one would fall so far behind. But yeah, definitely there's a big difference. Anybody that knows me knows I'm a weather fan. So about 5 or 6 years ago, there was a weather pattern change. So if you pay attention to it, everything is about a month behind. So like we're warm into October as opposed to September. We're cold into April as opposed to March. So that's just a weather pattern that changed, just like an El Nino or something like that. I don't know what exactly it's called, but yeah, it's rough. We buy a new bat every year or so, and they can't use it. Yeah, you can't use it until it's 50 or 60 degrees. So they're like chomping at the bit to get a hold of the new whatever it is, DeMarini or whatever. Yeah, Ghost, whatever we get, but. And that when that day comes, they get super excited. So yeah, it's rough, but our kids don't like the heat either. So, it's a mix of, it is what it is. We play through.
Right.
We're from the Northeast.
That's what you keep telling.
And the other encouraging thing is I've noticed there's been JV games, and I know in years past, like sometimes it wasn't easy to get the numbers that you'd hope for. But now that you're having JV games, that just tells you the program is building again. How are the JVs doing so far this year?
I'm going to say almost every single kid on that team, with the exception of maybe one or two who are getting varsity reps as well, have never played softball before. So the biggest thing for me is having the opportunity for them to get practice in, get some games in, even though it's not a full 20-game schedule, just getting something in so that next year, if we need 5, 6 of those kids to come up to varsity, rather than having them just ride a bench or cutting them, because I know some schools just don't even carry more than a certain amount of kids, they've gotten a year worth of practice and some games under their belt to help us out and really build out the future.
And our other assistant coach is Anna Cheverella. She couldn't be with us tonight, but she's doing great things with the JV kids. She's very patient and knew the game. She's an all-state player for us. Her name's on a banner in the gym. So she coaches over at the middle school and helps with basketball here at the high school under her father, Dave. So again, keeping it in the family and having a Cheverella on the coaching staff, it definitely helps too. So.
Right. So Jen, real quick, I know it's more about softball, this interview, but you are also the athletic director. So I did want to ask you a little bit about the baseball team and how they're progressing this year. Last I checked, they had 5 wins, maybe 6. So talk to me a little bit about the baseball team. How have they been doing so far?
Yeah, listen, they've got 5 wins. They lost a couple key seniors last year. They've got some great players right now on the team. You've got, Max Netto's leading the charge as a senior captain. Mikey Slack, Nick Sheridan, Jazier Barbera, Nick Katuchik is taking on some of the pitching role. You've got Momo Ortiz. So there's definitely a lot of kids. Isaac McNeil, so another Ari's brother. Isaac is playing first base for them. Colby Mariquin, a senior. That kid will give you everything he's got. Brooklyn Fernandez. I'm just trying to go around the infield, make sure I don't forget anybody. I always forget somebody. But yeah, I mean, they're putting in the effort every single day, and they're trying to again battle the teams that they can battle with and compete with. And what's that? Yep, freshman Vinny Nuzzo has been putting in some time. Started off the year with a broken arm. Was playing really well, then just recently broke his wrist. So he's healing up right now. But just again, it's a family environment. If you come to a baseball game, you're going to see Coach Schwarb's wife, Carla here. His son does the scoreboard. His other son is a volunteer assistant coach. So it's definitely a family environment, and just like it is in basketball when Coach Schwarb's around. So the boys are doing what they can, and they're striving to make the state tournament as well with 5 wins under the belt right now. It's different in softball. So with softball, it's 40%, so you have to win 8 games. With baseball, they fill, I believe, the top 28 in the bracket. They were able to do that last year. They snuck in with 7 wins and won their first game and went on to the second round of the tournament. So the expectation still is this year for both of us to make it in the tournament, do a little dancing, and see what we can do.
And if you both were to make the tournament, I think that would be the first time since 2011. Am I right? I mean, I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
because I don't believe baseball made it in 2019. I think it was just us at that point.
Right. So I mean, you're talking 13 years ago. So that'd be something big. And speaking of 13, tomorrow is the 13th annual Pink Game, and you know, this is something that got started obviously 13 years ago. But Jenn, tell the story about the Pink Game and how it originated.
Yeah, sure. So, like I mentioned before, Joe DiMartino was the head coach here for 31 years. I played for him from 93 to 96. And then I started coaching in 97. So I've been around the program for a very long time, almost as long as him. And his wife, out of, as it happens, early spring that year, I think it was February or March, got diagnosed with breast cancer. Underwent surgery, underwent treatment, and the season was coming up. And for me, I'm a big one with fundraisers. I'm going to help whoever I can help. It's just what we do. We try to do as much as we can with all of our athletic programs to help out the community. It's a community that supports all of us, so we absolutely want to give back to them the best, the most that we can. So in about 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I pulled together a bunch of raffle prizes, got pink shirts, and we went over. We were playing Ansonia. We had some great friends over in Ansonia at the time. It was Tony Piccolo, may he rest in peace. Lindsay Wheeler was his assistant, and we went over there. It was just a really, really cool experience. Lori, I believe, I don't know if she was just under treatment or had just had her surgery, but if you've ever been to Ansonia High School softball field, the field is down below. There's a hill and there's a parking lot up. And Lori was able to get out of the car while we were doing like the ceremonial opening of the game and kind of give everybody a wave, and it was super emotional for everybody involved in that game, just knowing who we were fighting for and who we were supporting. So she was treated at Griffin Hospital. She is thank God she is in remission and has been for many years now. But this is our 13 year of putting this together, and it's become a tradition. It's something that Carlin will joke about it when she was interviewed last fall or last spring, whenever it was. One of the questions was, "Did you know there's a Pink Game and that you're going to have to run it?" So like it was actually part of her interview. So it's definitely something that's near and dear to our hearts, and we donate the money, like I said, to the Hewitt Center for Breast Wellness every year. We've raised about $36,000, a little over $36,000 over the past 12 years. So, keeping up with the tradition, with inviting some friends this year. We're hoping we kind of hit that one out of the ballpark and go a little higher than 3,000 we average. Some people don't know this, but there's inside the one of the exam rooms at the Hewitt Center is actually named after, it says Derby Ansonia softball game, just because of our continued contributions to them over the years.
Right. And it's an all-day event, which is really cool as well. So I mean, like it's not just you play the game. There's going to be a JV game at 10 o'clock. I mean, tons of raffles that you raffle off and stuff. So I mean, it really is just like a neat event, and like you said, it's for a great cause. So you can't do any better than that.
Yeah, so we got really lucky this year. So as you mentioned before, I'm the athletic director now, so there's a lot going on. So we actually had 2 of our players come to us a couple weeks ago or about a month ago and said, "Hey, listen, we need to do our National Honor Society project, our community service. Can we take the helm for the Pink Game this year?" And it's senior Anastasia Stanis and then junior Kaylin DiMartino, who's been a part of this game for the 13 years she's been, or 13 years, 13 years of the 17 years she's been on this earth. So it's definitely something that is very very kind of a cool experience that they kind of took the charge and the lead on this one. So
doing good.
yeah, we're super proud of them. We just finished packing up and getting everything ready. We've got 60 raffle prizes for tomorrow. And we have 2 grand prizes. One's an overnight stay at the Surfside Hotel with dinner next door at the little pub for $5. That's a raffle ticket. And then Ansonia High School dropped off a couple baskets today. One of them has $300 worth of gift certificates in it. That'll also be a $5 ticket. And then they also did one that was $100 worth of gift certificates. We also have many different local businesses that donated. It's just amazing to see the community come and kind of put their arms around us as we try to help those that are battling and celebrate those that are survivors. So
right, and it really is like a wonderful cause. And correct me if I'm wrong, you also had a game just probably like an hour ago, correct?
We did. We played Kennedy. We won 20-7. That's our 6th win on the season. So
congratulations.
We need two more to clinch.
And Carlin, I was thinking about this, and I could be wrong, but I think if you do make the tournament, you'll be the 4th Derby coach to make the tournament. It might be 5, but it's definitely 4 for sure. You're in like a very small group, so that's really something to be proud of as well.
It's crazy. I didn't even know that.
Well, Joe was here for so long.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yes. So, I mean, obviously the goal is to make the tournament, but after that, I would say the next goal is take it game by game in the tournament and see what happens.
Yeah. The big thing now is keeping everybody healthy, getting the wins we need, being smart with the games we, aren't going to be as competitive in, doing whatever we need to do to keep the team where they need to be so that when we get to the tournament, we're prepared for it.
Yeah.
Right. And talking about tomorrow's game, who will be on the mound for
Caitlin DiMartino will be on the mound. Tonight was her first game back after battling an injury. But she is ready to go, and she is very excited. Before she takes the mound, though, she will have to take home plate because she does catch her mom's ceremonial first pitch.
And I think she's going to be pitching with a heavy heart because, again, I mean, this is part of this most of it got started because her mom was battling this illness. And so for her, there's going to be a lot of emotion on the mound tomorrow. Now she's she handles everything in stride, but I'm sure like the first couple innings, she'll be very fired up and emotional as well.
Yeah, we all will.
The key is to use the emotion as your purpose and not as an excuse.
Right. Well, I really do appreciate you both giving me some time. I wish you the best of luck the rest of the way. I'm confident you're going to make the tournament and just keep doing what you're doing. But really, what you're doing for this great cause, I think is just so admirable. And I really do appreciate the work that both of you do. And thank you for giving me some time today.
Yeah, Mike, we appreciate it. If I can just give a couple shout outs before we close up. So Jack Walsh will be here on Saturday, tomorrow, from 4 to 7. He'll be giving tours in our memorabilia room. Jack is our historian of that room. I'm the curator of that room. So it'll be really cool. I actually, for the first time, it's been open. We've been here 5 years. And I actually went in for the first time during our baseball pancake breakfast and actually took a walk around with my dad and got to look at all the memorabilia. And that does get switched out from time to time. So I'm excited for the next switch so I can go back in and see what else is in there. But Jack has been nice enough to go ahead and open that room for people so they can take a look from 4 to 7 tomorrow. So super excited about that. Just some of our sponsors that, we cannot do an interview without thanking them because they have been in this with us for 13 years. Eddie Sheehy from Edzema and Riverview Funeral Homes. Eddie was the first person that I talked to. I was coaching Vipers softball with him at the time, Valley Vipers. And, he right away jumped in and kind of gave us some startup money for that first game to, get food and things. And he does the same thing every single year. So shout out to Eddie and everyone over there. Jason from Dewdrop. Jay's a great guy. He'll be here tomorrow night. He's going to throw out a first pitch with Lori and a former Derby Board of Education or Central Office employee, Deb Schmidt, who's a really good friend of mine, who's also a survivor. So He'll be here to kind of hang out with us, and he hasn't been here in a couple years, but he always supports the game, always, gives us whatever we need. And he did the t-shirts this year again. So we can't thank Jason enough. Thurston's Foods donated hamburgers and hot dogs and hot dog rolls. I don't want to forget anybody. We have a ton of raffle prizes donated by local businesses. Is that everybody?
And bagels donated.
And bagels donated some bagels and cream cheese for the morning for us to sell during the morning game, the first JV game. It just really is a total community, experience. City Sisters does our shirts every year. The design that Shelly came up with this year is amazing. Carlin had the idea. It's on May 4th, so may the 4th be with you, the whole deal. She's like, let's put a Darth Vader on there. I was like, no, let's put a baby Yoda. So you'll see on our shirts, if you go on our Twitter or Facebook page, there's literally a little baby Yoda hanging out upside right above the softball. So, and then the Ansonia coach, Coach Daigle, reached out to me today, and he's like, everyone loves this design. Everybody wants to buy a shirt. I go, well, we'll take orders the day of the game if they don't mind wearing them after the game. So it really is just a cool little added benefit to that. So yeah. Are you you gonna stop by and watch your cousin Shay Gray?
Oh, of course, you know that. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. But I think it's great what you're doing, and just keep up the great work. And you both are really doing a great job with Derby softball. So just keep it going. Thank you again.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Appreciate the time tonight.
Thank you. And that, of course, was the head softball coach, Carlin Ali, and assistant coach Jenn Moffat, as well as athletic director for In the Spotlight. I'm Mike Kenichi saying good night, everyone.